my fellow comic book collectors, it's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Wednesday video where I answer your questions. The first question is sort of a continuation of last week's questions, where I was showing my Famous Monsters collection. People wanted to see the rest of it, so we're going to get into it. The first question comes from O'Harris, who wrote, I love the monster covers. I picked up a color proof of Monsters #1. Glad to have it. Please show the rest in another video. So I'm going to show some more from the Famous Monsters collection. There's a lot more questions to get into, so if you don't like Famous Monsters, well, there's a lot of other great stuff you'll see. So I think these are pretty cool covers, though. A lot of great monster covers. So we're going to go into the next issue. I forgot what issue number this is. It doesn't say on the cover, so I believe it's in the 20s. This is Famous Monsters of Filmland. And you got Bela Lugosi, Dracula, and he's with the victim. Yeah. So just a cool one. Sec here. And then the next one. Next issue. Just really great monster makeup going on here. This is number 23. So yeah. Really awesome stuff. And we got number 24, I believe. You can see how much I paid for some of these. The price is on the bottom. It's always fun. That's what I paid for back in the 1990s. I don't think they go for that much more now, sadly. We got Famous Monsters of Filmland. King Kong. It's very cool. I always liked I liked the original King Kong movie. It was my favorite. Actually, even more than the modern versions of the movie. I really liked the King Kong one. Original King Kong. And then we have the next issue. Outer Limits. Some weird looking monster. When I first saw this picture, I always thought the monster had some weird mustache, like one of those crazy, like, long mustaches. That's what I thought when I first saw this cover way back when. It's number 26. And number 27. And I was a big fan of Harryhausen, whatever, you know, that he would do all the stop animation things. I always loved that when I was a kid, like Sinbad and all those ones. And yeah, I was a big fan of the stop motion stuff. I thought it was really great. So that's number 27. Number 28 is the Wolfman. Number 29, the Flesh Eaters. Some more Dracula. Number 30. Number 31. You can see it's pretty low grade. The funny thing is, these are probably in some ways more expensive back when I was collecting them than they are now. They really haven't gone up that much, I don't think. It's somewhat sad. These are pretty cool comics, but sadly undervalued. Or cool magazines, I should say, but sadly undervalued. 32. I like this cover. I like King Kong. I thought this was a cute little diorama. Number 33. Number 34. Number 35. I have to go through these a little bit quick because There's just so many. Next one. 6, 37. Yeah, see, Harryhausen's. Harryhausen's. I was just saying random stuff. Harryhausen's. Yeah, I always messed up his name. It's such a crazy name. Okay, so yeah. He'll probably be rolling in his grave right now. But yeah, I really do like his work though. Number 38. This is a really great Frankenstein cover. Frankenstein's monster, to be precise. He's got real dental problems. Okay, speaking of dental problems, number 40. He's got really bad teeth. So these were probably Hammer films, so that explains the bad teeth. British are known for their bad teeth. So your 50 cents refunded. See page 70. Oh wow! In our 40th anniversary issue, they love their anniversaries. Everything seems to be anniversary of this or that, so it's kind of fun. Always trying to come up with an angle that it's a key issue. So this is number 41, another Wolfman cover. And then you got Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. This is an awesome classic cover. This one actually having a fairly high grade, which is nice. Classic cover though. Number 43. And I think what drew people to Famous Monsters was the fact that they would have a lot of these classic monsters and classic films that people loved. So this is like, again, King Kong. Then we got Dr. Blood's Coffin, The House of Wax. Stuff. And Vampire of the Opera with a Wolfman cover. Some cool stuff. You can tell the ones with the stickers, I probably bought these from the Mile High store. It was really hard to get a lot of these in my local area, so I'd have to order away from them. So I'd order like a whole bunch from Mile High. So yeah, another Wolfman cover. Where we at? Issue number 49. Issue number 50 with Gargo. And issue 51. And issue 52. With Dark Shadows. And issue 53. I feel like deja vu on this one. We've seen this cover before. And issue 54. And issue 55. And that's where I'll stop it. So just a really, bunch of really great comics, but magazines from Famous Monsters of Filmland. Just really cool ones. So yeah, so those are up to 55 now. We've gone from 1 to 55. Okay. Ralph, kind of to follow up with this, Ralph Patterson wrote, "Hello, Alan. Many thanks for showing the Famous Monsters of Filmland covers and other Furry items. It is sad how he was treated and taken advantage of during his last years. I agree with you, the Bride cover being the best. Basil Gogos is original art was for it and sold at Heritage in November of 2021. Is your bulk is the bulk of your comic magazine collection horror related? I'm hoping to see more monster related content. Well, so I just showed a bunch of monster related content. Yes, it is. It is actually. It's. I'd say 99%. Like it's really high percentage. Monster or Warren related actually. Like maybe Warren. So not only monster, but it would be some of the teen love stories or other books. Well, it's a teen love like uh, you know Freak Out USA and Vampirella, Creepy Eerie, Spirit, all the Warren related titles help. So yeah, so there's like a bunch of stuff in mixed within. So yeah, so I hope that answers your question. But I did show at least some more horror. I actually have a lot of other non-Warren horror related titles. I have a lot of the what's it called the like the weird books and stuff like that from the 60s and 70s where it's really they went all out with the Spall world Spall, yeah, the kind of horror related titles that they do, like what I want to say, there's like a bunch of titles, yeah, just some weird worlds and some weird stuff, horror related books, but not Warren horror. Why am I forgetting names all of a sudden? JSS Brooklyn wrote, for a non-comic question, as you are a Warren classic monster fan, do you think you'll visit the new Universal Studios Dark World in Orlando, and or what are your thoughts, maybe too early to ask, on such a place? And that Tip Top never gets old. Great book. Thanks again. Okay, so yeah, so I'm not really familiar with the Dark World in Orlando. I imagine it's a horror related theme park. They actually at Orlando, like last time I went to Universal Studios, I think it was like 5-6 years ago. It's been a while. And within the Universal Studios, because Universal Studios were the ones that produced a lot of the horror films, they actually do have like their Universal Monsters section of the theme park, and I really enjoyed that. So if they do more of that, I'm all for it. I think that'd be really cool. So yeah, I don't know enough to say. So if I can't really give you a good comment on that, but I'm sure it'd be really cool. Universal Studios, their theme park is pretty awesome. Almost too awesome. Because like I remember when I first went, there was I forgot what the ride was called, but it was a ride where you get to experience like a flood, fire, everything was fiery. They loved having like these fire effects. There's like a truck that explodes and fire is bursting out of it. You could feel the heat off of it, and it was quite hot. I was like, man, this is a bit too much. It's a bit too real. It was pretty amazing what they were doing with their effects in their Universal Studios ride. So very great stuff. So if they can do more of that, I'm sure that it would be really awesome. Okay, next question comes from Emish Weiler. I'm hoping that I pronounced that right. I'm also really surprised how abundant high-grade copies of Warren's Spirit there are. It is easy to find all 16 in near mint or better very easily. I wonder why. Well, there is a reason why you can find pretty much any Warren magazine in abundance. So one of the things that Warren did, which was a very unique thing, was most companies when they put books onto the newsstands, they would have it where the newsstands would rip off the tops and then send it back if they didn't sell, and those books were called remainder copies, and they were destroyed by the publishers at the end of the day, which meant that let's say you had a print run of 10,000 books, half them get returned, then half of them are basically destroyed at that point. So even though the numbers might be high, a lot of the books got destroyed just by being returned from the newsstand. Well, Warren, what they did was a little different than that. What they would do is they would have a back issue order section. If you look at the back of any of the Warren books, you would see like, oh, you can still order these issues, okay? And a lot of them, as a result, were being stored. They stored everything. And then what happened was, you could even, like right up to the very end of Warren Publishing's era, you could pretty much order most of the easier to get books. Like they would publish usually print runs of anywhere from 50 to 70,000. And any of the ones that were more recent, like closer to 1983 when they went defunct, they were pretty much easy to get. So Spirit was from the 70s, but they still had a lot of like boxes of that stuff. They even produced a Spirit like compendium where they had tried to like sell off some of these issues of the Spirit, where they would just put them together in a Spirit special, it was called. They put them together and then they would be like, here, this is a new version of the Spirit. It's like they would try to do things to try to get rid of some of these massive number of copies that they had of the Spirit. But so the point is, they had this massive warehouse of mint copies. Basically, it'd be all mint because never sent anywhere, just sitting in their warehouse with waiting for people to back issue order them. So what happened was, when Warren went defunct, there was a warehouse sale. And I've heard stories, like I met many people from New York where they had basically gone to this auction where they were selling just like crates. It was just like massive crates of Warren Publishing's, like whatever back issues they had. They had posters, they had everything you can imagine. Anything that they ever produced, they had it in bulk. And so it is basically like a warehouse find for everything Warren. So in a way, a lot of the stuff that Warren produced is pretty easy to get. And that's why, as I was saying earlier, it's really hard for these things to go up in value because they are so plentiful. Good and bad, right? It's good that they kept it all, but it's kind of bad because this is like a warehouse find for everything. You always talk about how warehouse finds impact the value of books. Well, just imagine everything that they ever published warehouse find. So that's why only certain issues of Warren are really considered hard to find, like Heidi Saha or the House of Frankenstein. Or House of Horror, I should say, House of Horror. There's a certain titles that were, when they were printed, rare. So they were only printed like 200-300 copies of them. Therefore, they are rare immediately. Eerie #1 is another one where it's like less than 100 copies. It's just like those things were rare when they were printed. Everything else they printed in mass and it was like kept. So that's why you can probably find a lot of these things in high grade and fairly cheaply. It is what it is. Okay, so next question comes from Fiddle Chips. I was wondering if you can have a Q&A live stream with Steppo. I really enjoy the musing back and forth. You guys have really great chemistry in a heterosexual way. He puts that in brackets. QA meaning viewers asking questions. Yeah, I mean, in a way we do that. So, and maybe that will be the theme for Monday. So this Monday coming up, we'll show some cool books, as always. We always show cool books in our Monday special. But we will make it a Q&A thing where I'll let you guys ask whatever questions you want. So next Monday, well, the Monday coming up, I should say, Monday, you guys can join the live stream 7 p.m. Eastern. Join the live stream, ask whatever questions you want, and Stephen and I will answer them. So I'm leaving it out to you guys to do that. So every Monday can be like that, where we do answer some questions. We will still show cool books. the majority of it will be us showing cool books, but you can always ask questions. So with any of my live streams, actually. Next question comes from K. Munin. What are your favorite Golden Age heroines? And what are your favorite Silver Age heroines? Okay. I wish I brought the books for these, but I'll try to show some of them. One is obviously Wonder Woman. Second one is like, this is so easy. I can just point over my shoulder. Next one, Black Cat and Sun Girl. Another one, which Steven actually helped me get, is Lady Luck. Another one is Miss Mask. So those are some of my favorite. So if you actually picked up my Golden Age Vixen, or Vixens of the Golden Age comic, you can see some of my favorite Golden Age characters. Another one actually is Black Cat, and then Harlequin, which is way over that way. And then below is Doll Girl. So another ones I really like. And then Slave Girl. So they're pretty much, if you look at the wall behind me, you can see my Golden Age favorite characters. In terms of my Silver Age ones, I like Sue Storm, and I like Scarlet Witch. Who are some other ones? I like what's her name? Jean Grey. So I like a lot of the Marvel ones. I like Poison Ivy, of course, and Batgirl. Harley, Silver Age. Who else? So there's a bunch. There's a bunch that I can think of. Pretty much all the major girls from the Silver Age, you could probably say I'd like. I do like them. Yeah. So those, that would be a simple answer for that one. Next question comes from William Barrett. Would you be willing to show your collection of negative space covers and explain why they are that? I don't understand the concept of negative space, although I find them appealing. Okay, so I'm going to show you some, and this is not my entire collection of negative space because they're actually mixed in, which is kind of annoying, but I'll show you a bunch anyways. So this is one that I just picked up recently. Now this gives a little bit of sense of the negative space, because negative space basically means that the eye will fill in the gap between the background and the foreground. So this is the foreground. That's their shirt and kind of blends right into that background. But your eye, even though it is like the same, like it's just bleeds right through, your eye sees it as being a separate thing. Okay, so that's negative space. So this is an example of that. That's a recent one picked up. And then here's another. So this is Thanos, and you can imagine that his arm's there. You see that it blends in. So there's no there's no lines that distinguish it, but your eyes somehow distinguish it anyways. That's how negative space works. And that was Alex Ross. Or no, actually, I don't think that was it's Christopher cover. And then we got Spider-Boy, another modern one. And this is actually an homage to Spectacular Spider-Man 101, which I'll show as well. So yeah, just you can see how negative space works. You know, you're filling in the gaps with the blacks and the whites. And then this one is a interesting one. I'm just going to show it. The negative space on this is very subtle. It's like right in there. Kind of blends in right there where her arm is. This one's very subtle, but the reason I showed it is it's actually, strangely, almost the same as this negative space one, where again you got the sword kind of, you don't see there's no lines that define it, but it's sort of very similar pose and everything. So I thought that was interesting. This is another Christopher one. Okay, then we got, as I was saying, the other one was an homage to this one. This is Spectacular Spider-Man 101, and you can see how the negative space works, where you can your eyes are filling in the gaps with where there's no line work, but there is like your eyes will just naturally fill it in where you see the leg, even though the leg is not clearly lined out, or their hand or whatever it is. This is a good example of negative space. And this one is actually, if you ever want to know what was the first negative space cover in comics, well, this is actually the very first negative space comic cover. And you can see it's like little dot, and it's just like a dot background. And her shirt, kind of, you fill in with your eyes, and it's all negative space. So that's the very first negative space comic cover. So that's those are all the negative space ones. A sec here. I'm gonna move things a little bit around here. A sec. Okay. So yeah, I hope you like those negative space ones. Next question comes from Two Huge Bros. Alan, seeing how much comics you have and knowing how much you love the hobby, would you ever consider selling or trading all of your books to get a massive Golden Age grail like Batman 1, Superman 1, or probably Action Comics 1? Everyone collects how they do. It's just having so much books means you need more space. I agree that sometimes having like a lot of books means you have a lot of space that you have to kind of have, but having just one book, I couldn't do it. I really do love the variety of books that I have. And the way I think of books is this way. It's a little, I kind of wanted to explain sort of an idea that I was thinking about a lot. When people ask me, they ask me this question a lot, would you rather have Action 1 or 1,000 other books like that are worth $1,000 each, right? I would rather have the 1,000 other books. And that's really what my collection is. It's like a lot of smaller but cool books, still fairly valuable books, that if I actually did take the whole entire collection, I could buy maybe 1 or 2 copies of Action 1. But do I really want to do that? I do like the variety. I do like these books. And the idea that I was thinking about was, how much is a book really worth? Like if a book is like $100, let's say, would you rather that $100 book or $25 books? So the way when I think of buying things, because we are all limited in the money that we have. We only have a certain amount of money. You have to make that decision. Is this one book worth getting versus 2 or 3 other books that you could with the same amount of money? So I was thinking about that a lot. But generally, I prefer to get more, but like there's a certain price point, I guess, in my mind, where I'll say, okay, if I buy this book at this grade and this price, then I think I can do that. I can mentally say that that's worth it, that spending that money makes sense. If it's too much, then I'll say, well, I could have gotten these 2 other books or 3 other books, and then it becomes less something that I'm willing to do. So with an Action 1, it means giving up like literally thousands or tens of thousands of books that I could have gotten. So it's like there's that trade-off. So I always think in those terms where this book means that I can't buy these other books. So it kind of helps me kind of evaluate how much I want to spend on something. Just something to think about, just an idea. Last question comes from CJ's Comics and Games. I know you have a lot of favorite Golden Age artists, but what are some of your present day favorites? Well, I brought a few. Like there's a bunch that I talk about a lot, like Zerdy and Bruce Timm, Dave Stevens, I don't know, Adam Hughes. I mention those ones all the time. I want to show some other artists that are also ones that I really do enjoy. First, an obvious one, because a lot of them are good girl artists that I like, J. Scott Campbell. So this is J. Scott Campbell's Stargirl. Star, I think it's just Star, actually. So yeah, but really cool book. see the back. I don't know. I really like J. Scott Campbell's girls, so they're very elongated looking, but I do like them. And another one that's really interesting is Arthur Sudan. Another one I didn't bring, but I do like, is Arthur Adams. This is a homage cover, Deceased. I just think it's a really great cover. Sudan. Or Sudden. Or Sudan. I don't know. I'm probably mispronouncing his name. Suydam. Another one that I don't mention very often, but I do like, is Amanda Connor. And I like homage covers, so this is another homage cover. This is an homage to the Betty cover, and also homage to Dolphin, which is Showcase 79. But just a really cool one. This is Barbie Fashion. And she did a lot of really great covers. If you look at this title, it's actually got some pretty great, underrated covers. Just really awesome stuff. So Amanda Connor, just a really great one. And another one I really do enjoy is Alex Ross. This is a nice Doom cover. And it's probably hot right now. Everything Doom is really hot right now. But I really like Alex Ross's covers. So I have like, they did a whole bunch at this time, and there was like a whole bunch of them. I picked them all up because I think they're cool. So that's Alex Ross. And the last one, another modern one that we actually do say fairly often, is David Nakayama. And I just wanted to show you my signed David Nakayama cover. It's a nice infinity cover, which I do love. I love infinity covers. And this one is also remarked by David Nakayama. It's got like a little Scarlet Witch remark. So this also fits with that Silver Age heroines that I like, which is, or yeah, Scarlet Witch. So yeah, so those are some of my favorite artists from the modern era. In the comments below, you can tell me some of your favorite artists. And if you guys have a question that you want answered, please put it in the comments below and I will answer it next week. And also on Monday, we will answer any questions from the comments within the chat. So stay tuned for that on Monday. So again, thanks everyone for watching. Bye for now.